if you are in a neighborhood and you have a power line, you have a massively steep driveway up or down, how much does that affect the value? And one of the things I always like to say is if you took the same house and removed it off the main road, you didn't have the steep driveway, and you put it interior in the neighborhood, what would it sell for? Or which one would people rather have? How much more would they rather pay for the home? Same house, inside the neighborhood, flat lot. What do you think?
I would say welcome back to the Hamilton's Unlocked.
Welcome back, Jenny.
How are you doing?
Good to see you again. It's good to see you again.
You've seen me all day, babe. You saw me yesterday. You're going to see me tomorrow. But it's good to see you too. I'm glad you got to see me.
I'm good. I'm tired of the cold. I'm ready for summertime.
Yes. Well, this will date this episode, but supposedly it's supposed to snow tomorrow in Atlanta. So I guess we'll see.
Maybe. Well, who knows?
You never know. You never know. You know what we do know though?
Tell me.
We know what affects home values in Atlanta.
We do know that, and that's something that we're going to talk about today. So people always ask us, how do you know, or what affects value? What, a steep hill, power lines in the backyard, those are obvious, but what other things affect the value of a home?
And I also think it's important to note what doesn't affect a value as much in a home, because you can make tons of improvements to your property, but if you've got certain things working against you, those are hard to overcome. And some of the things we're talking about today with home values can really only be overcome with price.
Yeah. And we were in a market for 3 or 4 years where a lot of these things didn't matter because there just wasn't inventory.
Yeah.
But now as inventory starts to creep back up, some of those things that were problems before are going to start becoming problems again.
Right. It's always smart. One of the things we tell our buyers when they're looking is, if we had to turn around and sell this property in a year or 2 years or 3 years, what would be the challenges? And you note those up front so you're not surprised by them in the end. So let's jump into a couple of the things that affect home values the most in specifically Metro Atlanta.
Can I tell you one that really affects it the most?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the story of, I don't want to say her name.
Okay.
But she had a home in Dunwoody. She called us out to look at her house and put a value on it. Beautiful Dunwoody home.
Yeah.
And in the backyard, as we walked out, you could see the largest power lines of Dunwoody. They probably power the entire area.
Yeah.
And she wanted to know if that would be a problem.
I know. It was like electromagnetic when you walked back there. Like my hair was standing up. The truth is, people don't actually know how much power lines affect, like from an energy standpoint, supposedly.
Didn't we try to put some trees to grow, or we tried to...
Well, we were like, you could put a play set, like it's flat.
We'll just
nothing's
close
going to
the
be
blinds
built.
and have no one able to go in the backyard.
Right.
We're doing renovations. Don't look out back.
Yes. So exactly. So something like that will always impact your home value, no matter how beautiful it is on the inside. If you walk out to, a magnetic force field, like you're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
So, one of the things, I think probably the most, the factor that's going to give the biggest swing from one house to the next that could be otherwise exactly the same in Metro Atlanta is going to be school district.
Yeah, definitely school districts. Those are always a big driver. And most people, it's funny, we have clients all the time ask us about school districts and want to move in, and they didn't have kids.
Right.
Because they understand that is a big driving factor for values.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a neighborhood located in East Cobb where one side of the neighborhood is in one of the most highly rated high school districts in the state of Georgia, and the other side is in just a lesser rated school district. So you can literally have homes across the street from each other with a 20% difference in value.
Don't know that? Mm-hmm. You're showing houses and you think something's a great deal and you didn't realize that it's because it's in the wrong district or it's in a different district.
And maybe you don't care and you do get that great deal, but you have to remember when you go to sell, you're going to take the same reduction.
Yep.
So, okay, another thing, big deal in Atlanta specifically, basement or finished basement.
It is. Although some people don't want a basement.
That's
They've
true.
come from Florida or other areas. And some people do. They've come from Oklahoma or Kansas where they have tornadoes and they're like, we have to have it. In fact, do you guys have like cellars, they call them?
Right. We don't.
No, we have
usually.
basements.
Yeah. But I think in Atlanta, because of our topography, basements are really, really common. So especially when people are moving up, they want the basement. They want the additional space for teens, maybe multi-generational family living, maybe a home office, but they want that additional space. It's really, really important to them. And basements are tough. They're tough to comp out because an unfinished basement versus a finished basement is very different from simply being on a slab, the way price per square foot is calculated. But the value is there just because it exists.
It is. And do you remember when you were selling new construction back before it started to pick up again, what the value of a basement was if you're going in to build a house and you added a basement.
Yeah,
it was around 40 to 50. That's right.
$50,000.
Yeah. Now an unfinished basement is what?
100.
Yeah, you're looking at probably closer to 100,000 for the unfinished space.
Yes. So having the basement is a big deal, and people search by that. We don't want to look at homes unless they have a basement, right? Okay. So another thing that's really important is a home's location within a neighborhood.
Yep.
So where in the neighborhood it is matters, even though the homes are, again, in the same neighborhood, maybe same school district, all other things built around the same time. But if you're on a main street versus backing up to commercial space or no privacy, that's going to matter.
Yeah, it reminds me of a house that just popped up for one of our buyers, and it was several $100,000 below 2 homes we had just sold in that neighborhood last year. And I remember thinking, this is a great deal. It's a great house. And I pulled it up on the map, and it's the first house in the neighborhood on the main street.
Right. And that's just hard to overcome. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Where a cul-de-sac lot is also going to sell for more. Or within a community, if say you're in a golf course community, if you back up to the golf course versus another house, then that's going to bring value. So something to consider.
People always ask us, what percentage does that affect? You know, if you are in a neighborhood and you have a power line, you have a massively steep driveway up or down, how much does that affect the value? And one of the things I always like to say is if you took the same house and removed it off the main road, you didn't have the steep driveway, and you put it interior in the neighborhood, what would it sell for? Or which one would people rather have? How much more would they rather pay for the home? Same house, inside the neighborhood, flat lot. What do you think?
I would say 10% or more.
Yeah, that's kind of been the rule of thumb, around 10%. Yep.
Yeah. So another thing to keep in mind is the way people search for property is going to affect your property value. So a lot of people obviously use search engines to look for homes. We use them as well. And you put in certain criteria to narrow down the homes that you're getting. So we already mentioned school district. Big thing, bedroom count and garage.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, when you have no kids, 3 bedrooms, not a big deal.
Right.
But in great neighborhoods and great school districts, we often find most people would rather have 4 bedrooms to 3.
Right.
And they start their search at 4 bedrooms. So if you're at 3, you don't even get looked at.
Right. You could have the most beautiful kitchen in the whole wide world and a great lot, but your home may not even come up in the search because you don't have that 4th bedroom. So I think 4 bedrooms when you're looking at single family homes that are driven towards school districts and larger, occupancies of homes. Same thing though goes with when you're looking in town. If you're a 3 bedroom little bungalow, you're in great shape. But if you're at 2, again, most people don't say, I want a 2 bedroom house. They want the 3. So they start there and they only back it down when they can't find what they're looking for in their price range. Right. So that shows you that value's there. And then the garage count. So whether you have 0, 1, or 2, where the garage is, if it's under your house, that's going to be less desirable than a kitchen level side entry garage.
Nobody wants to always have to walk their groceries up a whole flight of stairs.
Yeah. Or if they do, they're trading off something else for that. So having the garage, even though in Georgia, obviously most people use their garages for storage space, versus having to park a car in it, people still want one.
Yep.
Tell me what you think about pools.
Well, having sold real estate for a number of years, pools were always kind of you didn't see the return on your investment with a pool. Maybe you would get 30% of whatever you put into it, and then most people were scared of it. And then the maintenance costs of it after COVID, it almost became like it significantly helped your value.
Right.
And now I think people want a pool. It's an added value. Most people. You still have people and we have clients right now that they don't want a pool. They have young kids. They're terrified of that.
Yeah. And I would really fall into that category and the maintenance category and thinking through those things about a pool. However, I want the option for one, right?
Yeah.
So a pool ready lot is great because it's the best of both worlds. And like you said, with the pools now, it's cheaper to buy the house that already has a pool than have to put a pool in. They're very expensive to build now.
That's right. Yeah. After COVID, it cost the cost for construction, which went through the roof.
So in a luxury property, how much would you say you would price a house more with a pool now on a luxury property over $1 million?
You're typically going to get $150,000 to $250,000 more for having the pool.
Right. And it's very difficult. You can put in a pool for $150,000 or $200,000, but probably not with the same specs as the ones that are already built. Yeah. Because they were able to build it for $100,000.
Right.
And then finally, just the curb appeal of your house. Why do you think that's important? I have a reason I think that's important.
Yeah. It's the first thing you see when you pull up. I mean, when we bought our house here, what was the first thing that we did after we moved in?
We changed the door.
Well, we changed the door, but
And the landscaping.
we ripped out all of the front landscaping. It was overgrown. It was 20 years old, and we changed the whole curb appeal. And we've had more people drive by our house and make comments about how much they like the curb appeal of our house now.
Right.
As to what it used to be.
I call it the is it pretty test. So again, the thing that I think of again in selling real estate is that is the first picture of 95% of homes. If it's not, it makes you wonder, this must be an ugly house, right?
Yeah, when the first photo is the kitchen, you're kind of like, what's
going
wrong
on
outside?
with the outside of this house? And usually that's the reason. So just that first impression of, wow, that's just a beautiful house with beautiful curb appeal. Whether someone's driving by it, they care a little bit less about what they're going to find inside. At least at first, you grab that first emotional attachment by having beautiful curb appeal on your house.
Yep.
So that's really going to affect your value because it's going to affect how many people you can get in your front door for showings. And then you show off all the other wonderful things. So you can't change everything about your house, right? There's the can changes and the can't changes. And just because you're dealing with something difficult in your property, maybe you are the first house on the road or et cetera.
Maybe you back up to a power line.
Right. Maybe you back up to the power line. Your home is sellable.
Yep.
It's absolutely sellable. It's just the value is going to be reflected in those drawbacks. And that's okay. And that's why, but you truly need an expert to help you understand that so you can price it right and actually get it sold.
Yep. So if you are looking for an expert, we are available.
We happen to be available.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Good job, Jenny. Thank you.
All right. See you next time.
All right. Sounds good.
Because I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah.